listening to Chris Talks Cars on Cartoon Channel. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Chris Talks Cars. I am joined once again today by my good friend, a man that wants to take your SBC and shove an SBF in there, Mr. Brandon Cole.
That's me.
Yeah.
Swapping everything.
Yep. All the swaps.
All right, man. What you got for us today?
So another week. This week we have something that's near and dear to my heart, a Honda recall, because apparently the 2013 to 2015 Honda Accord is there's been 107 reports of loss of steering control under normal driving conditions. The NHTSA has begun an investigation based on an October 2020 petition from a 2013 owner, where she describes losing steering control and the car deviated from its intended path of travel during normal driving and without warning. So luckily there's been nobody seriously injured, and hopefully it doesn't happen to me, like, you know, on the highway or something. That'd be rough.
Yeah, that would not be good. I do know that Honda does have a really good what do you call it, a warranty, whatever, with that for the recalls. I bought my wife 2009 Civic when we first got married, and it the motor just straight up cracked, like the block cracked. It started leaking coolant everywhere. Yeah, we were just driving down the road and all the coolant leaked out and overheated, and so I dumped some more coolant in there and we drove it home. But we took it into the shop, and it turns out there's a recall on it, and they gave us a brand new engine, brand new cylinder head, fully rebuilt everything, and it didn't cost us a penny.
That's badass.
Yeah, it ended up working out pretty well for us. And
that Honda will now outlive us all.
Yeah, it only had 70-something thousand miles on it at the time.
Oh, it was barely getting broke in.
Yeah, this is probably good 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah. So yeah, that's hopefully they'll issue a recall or like figure out more specifically what's wrong so I don't die. Another thing in the news, and it's affecting everyone. It's affecting me personally, as I've been unable to get a PS5. It's caused Apple to stagger the release of the new iPhone. It's caused a lot of problems, a chip shortage, which is due in part to, made much worse by COVID, from what I've been reading. But yeah, Ford's not the only one. A lot of automakers have had to either delay or just halt production on vehicles because they're missing like crucial either navigation or ABS type components that they can't even deliver the vehicles. We're a part of the Ford Godzilla Facebook group page, and there's people on there complaining that they're being delayed delivery of their 2021 F250s and 350s because there's no ABS or there's no ECU or there's critical components that are just unavailable.
So that's their bread and butter going down. It says they're losing an estimate $1.2 billion in revenue, having to shut down that plant to make their all of Ford's pickup trucks.
Yeah, and Ford, as you know, stopped making pretty much everything except the Mustang, correct? As far as their passenger cars, all they make now is pickups and SUVs.
But I'm not entirely sure, but I have heard that before, but I can't verify that's true or not. But I guess we can Google that real quick.
Either way, the pickup sector is like the bread and butter of Ford and GM, and has been for decades.
When we went and bought my wife's new Ford Explorer Sport, now that you mention it, I don't recall seeing any real cars there. There's a Mach-E. I don't know if we count that as a car or not, but they're obviously the Mustangs, but yeah, it's pretty much SUVs and pickup trucks at this dealership. So yeah, maybe that's about right. But you actually mentioned something about Apple a second ago, their microchips. this is maybe a little off topic, but they're making a car now, right?
I've heard they were going to partner with Kia or Hyundai. Same thing, but
yeah, I don't really know, but I thought I kind of expected it. They're going to make everything eventually.
I would be very interested because I didn't know it was confirmed. I just heard they were in talks. Kia and Hyundai have absolutely stepped up their game tremendously in the last decade. I remember when I was younger, Kias and Hyundais were just like throwaway cars. You'd get them for like dirt cheap, and you drive them for 100,000 miles, and you literally you'd see them abandoned on the side of the road, like they were just absolute trash.
Yeah.
And now, like the Genesis line is a pretty legit luxury automobile.
Yeah. So, a long way.
Yeah, Apple makes, I'm a big fan of their products, so I'm sure the two of them working together, hopefully they bring their best parts forward and you don't get a like the cheapest version of both. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. I would imagine if it does say here that it's all but confirmed, it's kind of just an article of what we do know so far. So not a whole lot of information on here, but it seems like this is a legit thing. And I don't know. I don't know anything about this pairing of the Kia or Hyundai or whatever, but that would make sense. I would say Apple brings all this technology, and then an automotive industry, or it says here Hyundai actually. So Hyundai brings all their industry knowledge on car building. So
yeah, I imagine they saw Tesla and realized that the production and development, just the production and development of a chassis up automobile is a huge pain in the ass. So they're probably like, you know what? We'll just go talk to Hyundai real quick.
I wonder if it was the other way around. I wonder if Hyundai approached Apple about it, saying, hey, we have to have an electric car, and you guys are pretty innovative and have a ton of money.
It could be. I mean, either one is plausible, I suppose.
Sure.
I know they've had hybrids for a little bit. I don't know if they have a full EV yet, though, Hyundai.
So, I don't know. I don't keep up too much on them. I probably should.
Yeah. So yeah, that's worldwide, and depending on who you listen to, which article you read, they're supposedly stepping up production to try and catch up with the shortage, but it's 1 to 5 years depending on which article you read before this chip shortage and the effects of it kind of ease up.
Interesting seeing how it slows down the EV market as well.
Yeah, because that's, in large part controlled by computers.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So that's it's the kind of the global economy in a way, the melding of technology and automobiles. Everything's just more and more interconnected. So
right.
Here's something that I didn't know, which makes perfect sense now that I think about it. The Lamborghini Urus, which I'm not a huge fan of.
Yeah.
But that and the Audi SQ8 are the same vehicle. And somebody told me that, and I was like,
they share a chassis or whatnot?
Yeah. Yeah, it's just like the R8 and the Huracan.
I didn't know they shared a chassis.
Oh yeah, they are absolutely the same except the body.
Okay.
Engine, transmission, diffs. I mean, they're all covered in each other's badges.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it makes sense then if the R8 and the Lambo, why not? I really don't like the Urus, if that's how you say it properly. It's very cool. It's interesting looking, but I think it was on one of these car Top Gear, maybe Top Gear America or something, and it pretty much got stomped by the Track Hawk, and I think even the Durango or something like that. And then what was the other?
Was it like quarter mile time or track time?
Gosh, I think it's definitely quarter mile, and I believe it pretty much got stomped in so many other areas. It was probably a bit more nimble because I've seen some in real life here locally, and they look smaller, but I think it just flat out came down to that. All the torque and everything coming out. I mean, you can use it all in that Jeep and the Durango because it's all-wheel drive. I mean, I know the Urus is too, but it just severely got outpowered, I think.
Well, I mean, it's kind of hard to argue with the grunt of a blown 6.4 liter.
Yeah, 6.2, but yeah.
Oh, my bad. But yeah.
Or it might be a 4. I don't know. I know the Demon's a 6.2.
Then it's probably the 6.2.
Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah, the Audi is a 4-liter twin-turbo V8.
Yeah.
So, different strokes for different folks. The Audi is also almost $250,000. So, there's that.
Yeah, that's a lot more. I would definitely rather have a $90,000 Jeep.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with you there. Not of all, so I've always thought, and I think I said this before, if you were to try to get me in a Bentley or even a Rolls Royce before, I don't know, 7 years ago when they started to go with, or I guess it's been more than 7, but when they started to do the Continental GT and kind of make it a younger, sportier look. Before that, I just could not understand why anyone would want one. And even now, if I had $1 billion, the amount of cars I'd have before I had one of those is pretty long, the list. But the luxury SUV market, it really surprises me it's taken this long to get into, because I'd drive a Rolls-Royce Cullinan or a Bentley Bentayga before I'd drive almost any of the sedans. So it makes sense to me that it's taking off now, but it's still funny to me that it took so long.
I can't think of any good reason to drive a sedan. There's not one legitimate reason why, if given any budget, why I would say I'm going to go buy a sedan. Because if I want a car, I want a coupe because I want it to be fast. And if I want luxury and room, I want an SUV or even a truck.
That's fair.
Sedans don't make sense.
I don't think I'd ever buy a 7 Series. Or I don't know. Unless I was being driven, maybe there's a few sedans that are pretty cool.
Going back to what we just talked about, look at Ford. If they're truly not making a sedan anymore, maybe they've caught on to the same thing that I'm maybe just now catching on to. It just doesn't make sense. And I've owned one sedan my entire life, and it was an Evo, which hardly qualifies, but it is a sedan.
Right.
And I've never seen the point of it. If you want room and you want luxury, you get a sweet SUV. If you need to haul something, you buy a truck. Everything else, it's just a sports car. And so you might as well have it small and fast and nimble.
That's fair. You make valid points, my friend.
Yeah.
There's your Hellcat sedans that are pretty cool. You get a Charger. It's pretty badass, 700 horsepower.
Okay.
I don't know. Hold
on.
Yeah. All right.
So you can get the Challenger, and the Challenger is faster in every way, shape, and form.
Charger.
Sorry. Yes, but it's faster than the Charger. The Challenger is faster than the Charger.
Right, but you can't get people in and out of the back seat easily.
Right. So if you are in need of that, you buy the Jeep Trackhawk or the Durango Trackhawk or whatever it's called. It's not a Trackhawk. I don't know. The fast Durango.
Yeah. It's just SRT, I think. But yeah.
Whatever it is. Yeah, it's got the same 707 horse engine or whatever, the supercharged engine in it.
Right.
But yeah, I mean I don't understand the even the point of a Charger. I was actually disappointed with the Charger from day one because historically that's a 2-door coupe.
Yeah, that's true.
But it is a 2-door coupe. And I mean, I get it, the need for a sedan in their lineup, but yeah, it just doesn't make sense to me. It's just you get a larger back seat than the Challenger, and then in any other instance, it's like, why not just have an SUV?
That's fair. That's a fair point.
Yeah.
But
anyways, I want to talk about. Are we ready to move on? Because I want.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I want to talk about the Lightning.
Okay.
Ford has
on the trail of bastardizing names.
Yes,
Ford's just fucking done it again.
Yes. So Ford, we're gonna do a podcast next week on Wednesday when they release the few details that they will release probably on the new F-150 Lightning, all electric vehicle. It's not going to be gas powered.
And to be clear, this isn't the new embodiment of the early 2000s Lightning. This is the all electric F-150, not a designated performance vehicle.
So this is not an SVT,
right?
Or do we know that though?
I've not seen anything about that. So I did a little bit of reading, kind of inadvertently about it. The performance Lightning truck is now the Raptor. They were gonna when they were designing the next gen Raptor after the bubble one in the early 2000s. They decided to make it off-road instead of track oriented. So that's the Raptor is the SVT truck now. This Lightning, from what I've read, is just their designator for the all-electric F-150 instead of having, you know what I mean?
I guess I jumped the gun on it a little bit because I was hoping. I mean, I would imagine it's going to be fast. If it's
of course, it's all the EVs seem to be. That's like the only way they can get people to buy them.
Sure, but like, yeah, okay. So I'm still thinking that they're going to stay true to their name, being a sports truck, but I guess I missed.
Oh, it's like they did with the Mustang, right? The Mach-E. That's a still car, right?
Yes,
they wouldn't do that. They wouldn't take something that's beloved for decades and generations and use it. No.
I definitely think they shot themselves in the foot on that. I saw one on the road the other day. It wasn't horrid, but I definitely didn't think, wow, it's a good looking vehicle. Is definitely messed up there. And even still, the top of the line performance version of it is not like fast. It's quick, but it's not like sports car fast territory. Especially trying to compare it to the Tesla.
Yeah.
So it's like they just kind of missed everywhere. They put a sports car name behind it, a historic sports car name behind it.
Yeah.
A very beloved sports car name behind it. And
call it the fucking Taurus Mach-E. How about that? Call it the SHO Mach-E Taurus.
Yeah. I really think they messed up on that. And I think they're doing it again with the Lightning, but we'll see. I'm not going to judge them until I see it. I'm already going to judge them on the Mach-E. That was a miss. And we'll see what happens here.
I don't hate the Mach-E because it's electric, or I mean, it's not the best looking thing, but whatever. It's some weird like market niche thing you're trying to make, whatever.
Yeah.
Don't call it a freaking Mustang, please.
Yeah. Unless it's a true sports car.
Yeah, but even then, if you're going to do an all-electric sports car, don't end the Mustang. It's no longer a Mustang. Yeah. Once they stop making V8s in Mustangs, I think they should stop calling it a Mustang. Come up with your new generation pony car, whatever you want to call it. The day they stop offering a V8, I believe. I mean, that's just me being like a purist dickhead, but it's still like bums me out. Like I'm okay with the electrification. Like I get it. It's progress. It is what it is, but stop trying to it's still the same. Here's a little carrot. It's just the same. It's not.
I sort of agree with you. However, I think that the 5.0 probably should have gotten dumped a while back and then just gone with the all aluminum 3.5 liter EcoBoost, because it's already proven to just be a great power plant. And I think it would be amazing having like an SVT variant of it in the Mustang. Like it's in the Ford GT. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
It doesn't have the great sound. It doesn't sound amazing. Like
that even aside, it's like if you look at the DNA of what makes I'm not saying that the EcoBoost engine isn't great. Like there's numbers to prove me wrong all day on that. Like I agree, it's awesome. But to call something an American muscle car and not have a V8 offered, I don't know. That just call it something else. Call it something else. Call it the new wave, whatever, the Stallion, or I don't know. Call it.
Well,
make it something different.
So that thought process in my mind is the reason why the GMC Cyclone and the Buick Grand National X, the GNX, didn't make it long term, because back in 1987, those were the fastest cars in the world, 0 to 60. Nothing really
absolutely
that close. They were absurdly fast, and they were Buicks and GMC trucks. Like when the GMC Cyclone, which is basically a GMC Sonoma with an all-wheel drive drivetrain and a single turbo V6, was the fastest car in the world, and it was a truck.
Sub 4 second 0 to 60. Absolutely.
Well, it's not sub 4 second. It's sub 5 second. I think it was like mid to low 4 second area. I think is capable of launching at. But still, I mean, absurdly fast. I think the next fastest thing was probably in the 5s or maybe even 6s. I mean, at the time, a Corvette was like making 250 horsepower or something like that.
So all right, 4.3 seconds. My bad.
Yeah, that's still by today's standards, that's fast.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a new Mustang is about in that territory, if not a little bit slower.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so I think it's the same thing. It's like the Grand National it just didn't have that grunt, that sound that a V8 has. So people just didn't want it, I guess.
Yeah. And I mean, don't get me, I'm not saying that the sound isn't a component of it, but I don't know. It's not a muscle car if it's not a V8.
I think a lot of people would agree with you though. So I mean, I would say I'm probably in the minority here.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to a badass twin turbo. Like if you wanted to make, like if Shelby wanted to make a badass EcoBoost Cobra.
Yeah. If we went and talked to the JDM boys, they would be laughing at us.
Look, they've already put an RB26 in a Mustang. They've proven they're not to be trusted, and we'll just leave that alone. Yeah,
but historically, inline sixes or just 6 cylinders with turbos in JDM vehicles have proven to just be historically awesome.
I'm not saying I don't want that. I'm saying it's not a muscle car. That's all I'm saying. I'm not shitting on small displacement turbo engines. I fucking love them. I'm all about it. But if you call something a muscle car, I believe that implies a V8.
Right.
If you call something a pickup, it implies a bed to carry things. Like if you cap off the bed of the Cyclone, which it was laughable. I think it had a 500-pound payload. It had just some ridiculous thing. But if you cap it off and make it to where you can't haul or tow anything, is that a pickup anymore? Yeah. Well, not really, because a pickup implies a certain set of capabilities. To me, I don't know. Maybe I'm just an asshole.
In my mind, the only, I don't even classify a Mustang or Camaro or Corvette or anything along those lines as a muscle car. The only thing in my mind that classifies as a muscle car that's made today is the Challenger.
Why is that?
Well, so back in the day, let's look back 20 years ago. What did you consider a muscle car back then? I mean, or classically, a muscle car is these old Challengers, these old Camaros. All right,
so
hold on, let me finish. So they're straight line fast, and they're pretty much not really good for hardly anything else. And I mean, the Challenger honestly is pretty good. The SRT models are pretty good around the track still, but realistically, these cars are geared towards just quarter mile drag racing. I mean, that's the highlight of a Challenger Hellcat or Red Eye or Demon.
Right.
And so I don't know. That's how I mean, you specify them your way, and I kind of do it my way, I guess. So I didn't really put a Mustang in a muscle car category. More so, just American, the domestic sports car, I guess.
That's fair. I mean,
a pony car.
Yeah, a five seats, 2 doors, sports like muscle car. That's V8. A sports car technically is 2 seats, which is what the Corvette is, if we want to be real assholes about it.
Yeah, sure.
But no, that's fair. As soon as I guess they started being more circuit track oriented than quarter mile oriented, you could say the muscle car died.
And Mustangs have always been more track oriented than anything. I mean, even back in the old 1965 or whatever,
right?
Way back when, they've always kind of wanted to be more nimble and not really focused on having a big honking V8 to squeeze out every horsepower they could out of it. I mean, they actually did squeeze out a lot, but they always had the smaller engine and just tried to make
higher revving.
Yeah. So anyways, long story short, the Lightning making some sort of comeback, and we're gonna review it next Wednesday.
Yep.
Tune in for that.
Heck yeah.
And other Ford news as well. This is a Ford day right now.
Heck yeah. Every day is Ford day.
I am not Ford biased, just so everybody knows. It's just, I mean, right now there's a lot to talk about, and I end up talking a lot about Ford.
He says that, but earlier in the show, this exact show, he pulled a small block Chevy out to put a small block Ford in. So
that's what I did today. I didn't go to work. I just did a Ford swap on my Cummins.
Yeah,
pulled the Cummins out. Dropped.
Man, that's ambitious.
Dropped a 4.6 modular V8 in there.
The old 2-valve for 2-valve.
Yeah.
It's the same, right?
Hey, no, this is actually a 4-valve Cummins.
Okay. Anyway. Well, you had 2 more cylinders in the V8, so it's the same. It's
that's
the same.
better, right? Yeah, more cylinders is better. So 2022, so next year, F150 is firing back at the T-Rex with the F150 Raptor R, which is rumored to be a 700 plus horsepower, 5.2 liter supercharged V8.
Which is happy news and sad news. Can you guess why it's happy and sad?
Well, I'm going to let you tell me.
All right. It's happy because we're back to the V8. It's sad because they missed another opportunity to put the 7.3 or a variant of it.
I don't get that. Like, come on, guys. Okay, so yes, what is everybody raving about right now? The 7.3 still in our industry. You know, if you follow anything on Instagram or Facebook car related, I mean, 7.3 is going to get mentioned quite a bit, and there's a lot of it. I'm following a guy right now that's doing a 7.3 swap on I think it's like a 2002 Lightning. It's a supercharged 7.3, which is so cool. I'm pretty stoked for him to get it going and run and follow along on it. But I mean, that's what they could have just done that, and it would have been great. One, you would have had so much displacement. It would have just, the tuning world would have really taken this and had a whole lot of fun with it. And then you would fire back at them with just all that displacement. And, you know, it would just belittle the TRX, but they didn't do it. I mean, I'm not bashing the 5.2 at all. It's been,
if it is the same running gear out of the GT500, which it seems to be 5.2 liter supercharged with a 10-speed automatic, that is people already getting insane power out of those with like tune E85 and a pulley. So I'm pretty excited.
Essentially, it's the Voodoo engine, but supercharged also.
No.
Okay.
Voodoo, they're both 5.2s. Voodoo is flat plane crank.
Yeah, it's flat.
And this is cross plane crank. This is like the more traditional.
So this is more or less a slightly larger 5.0.
Yes.
Okay.
But I mean, that's just my little knowledge. But I do know, because I was excited that they were going to put the GT350 engine in the GT500, but they're pretty different from what I understand.
Okay. I guess that's another thing that we'll wait to see what's really in this. Is it just a 5.2 Coyote, or is it I guess the same thing? Is I probably need to educate myself a little bit more on that, because I was just under the assumption that that's what this was. But if the GT500 already has this, then I am a little bit behind on it.
Let's see. I'm trying to see what actually constitutes the Coyote.
Yeah.
Because, I mean,
honestly, it would make sense to me for it to be based off of the Coyote, being that it just is really good proven engine and they make a ton of them.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. It looks like the Coyote is just, their dual overhead cam, 5-liter V8. So I don't know. That's something we could definitely do more research and come back.
Yeah. But I'm actually, that's another thing too, though. It's like, so these, regardless of if it's the Coyote or some sort of voodoo deal or something else entirely, these are big engines. Displacement wise, not big, but just
physically,
measurement wise, physically, yeah, they're big. I mean,
they gobble up an engine bay, man. Yeah, those heads are massive.
Yeah, huge cylinder heads. And then you have the 7.3, which is lighter and physically smaller, but you get like 1.1 more cubic inch displacement. I mean, 1.1 more liters. Kind of, it's hard to say. 2.1
they switched
more
to a in cam in block pushrod design, just so people that don't know.
Yeah, so yeah, you get the more traditional old school cam in block pushrod engine are just smaller, more compact, and it would have made
getting insane numbers out of them, like
crazy numbers. And this is just a work truck. They haven't even, like, Ford Racing hasn't even, SVT hasn't even got their hands on this. This is just some aftermarket stuff that's been thrown together real quick, because the engine's only been out for like a year now, like on the where you can actually buy a crate engine.
Yeah, like LS type numbers, like up into 4 numbers without cracking the engine. Like you just strap a Pro Charger on there or some turbos, and people are getting 1,200 horsepower.
Yeah, so it just would have made sense for them to do this, and they're not doing it. I'm not mad, but I wish it would have had the 7.3, and I think a lot of people are going to agree with me on this.
Yeah. Well, make sure to let us know in the comments on YouTube or on the Instagram. I am ChrisTalksCars. Brandon, what are you?
I'm actually just changed my name, so it is roll_Cole.
And if you spell it right, you're wrong.
If you spell it right, you're wrong. But yeah, check us out on cartoon channel as well.
Yeah, that is ROLE_Cole, COLE. And we will be back next week with our regular show, and then a little bonus mini episode about the Lightning. So make sure you check that out. Like, subscribe, rate, and review, do all the things, and we will see you next week. Bye.
See ya.